Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 272nd episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So once again, we're tackling an act that has appeared on the page at least once in the past, and the New Jersey-based duo slash occasional trio Artifacts is a perfect example of a group whose first two albums are so memorable and high in quality that you could go either way with your favorite, and from what I've seen online, it seems relatively split down the middle. The LPs I'm referencing in this case are the Artifacts 1994 debut here, Between a Rock and a Hard Place, and the sophomore album that followed it up, which I covered a while back on the channel, 1997's That's Them, which I'll leave a link to down below in the description. But I believe I discussed in that LP's review how, despite it being my favorite record in the duo's unfortunately short discography, it's really only by a hair, because the first project they released here is truly amongst the top tier of New York boom bap hip hop albums that dropped in 1994, and that's really no small or easy accomplishment. I've broken down the importance and prolific nature of that year in hip hop on numerous occasions, so I'm just going to share some of my personal favorite heavy hitters that the East Coast gifted us in '94, like Organized Confusions, Stress, The Extinction Agenda, Gangstar's Hard to Earn, Drew the Damages, The Sun Rises in the East, Method Man's Tikal, Pete Rock and CL Smooth's The Main Ingredient, Blowout Comb by Diggable Planets, Word Life by OC, 6 Feet Deep by Gravediggaz, and of course you also can't forget two of the most influential rap albums to ever exist, Nas's Illmatic and the Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die. To be mentioned in the same conversation as those big dogs is something that couldn't and didn't happen by accident. It came about because both El Da Sensei and the late legend Tame One were insanely talented lyricists and MCs, and of course DJ Chaos, who unfortunately has also passed on, would become a major part of the group's second project, and the identity of Artifacts in general, but he wouldn't end up joining until they started working on That's Them, meaning he obviously wasn't involved with the production on Between a Rock and a Hard Place. I think a main reason that these dudes were such an important staple of underground hip-hop in New York throughout the mid-90s is because during a time where many rappers from all areas were straying further and further away from the core tenements that the genre was birthed on, acts like Artifacts or Company Flow were helping keep these themes alive by incorporating breakdancing, graffiti, and other b-boy elements into their music. In fact, the most popular song that Artifacts ever released was about graffiti, and it also happens to be the lead single for Between a Rock and a Hard Place, which is titled Wrong Side of the Tracks. Both MCs are so sharp and lyrically consistent on this thing that I feel like this is as good a song as any to share lyrics from. Starting with Tame One, who shreds his verse, coming in with "I'm out to bomb like Vietnam under the same name Tame One, the bad one, ink flow master bastard with the magnum. I tags up quick and then I steps to the exit when it's time to get sefted or flexed on some fresh shit. Some whack crook stole my black book, I know who took it. I know his whole tag because the man writes his name crooked. The ink I use might stink, but you gotta think I got my props hops cause my tags don't shrink. I'm tagging and bagging bitches cause my name is famous in the street cause they know my name's from cruising in the Jeeps. So yo, grab a can and put your man up and stand up for the fresh, never stale dudes off the third rail. Deep, dark, and black like the magnum I pack, it's that Artifacts chat from the wrong side of the tracks. I can't just focus on one of the MCs though, at least not when it's a duo where both members are so skilled with their craft. So I want to read the first El Da Sensei verse from this track as well. He starts off rapping, "I load my backpack with spray paints and markers to spark the tag I never drip, I catch the path, take a trip to the train yards and think back when I used to write that shit that used to hit, had all the mad color tips." breaking was my thing, I used to spin the back. I never thought I'd spin the wax with tracks to make your hands clap. I could have went the other way, but no haps. I got my dap on the map with my Bic down to a spray cap. This will probably be the last Artifacts project I feature on the page, and I wouldn't be surprised if most people didn't even realize they technically dropped a third and final LP that sort of doubled as a reunion album in 2022, when they collaborated with Buck Wild once again to release No Expiration Date, the final chapter in their discography that came out just mere months before Tame One's death. The production on here is handled by a small but talented roster, including Drew, Buck Wild once again of DITC, E-Ray of the Soul Assassins, and Redman, who doubles as one of the featured MCs on the LP. But we also get appearances from Jay Burns Jada and Busta Rhymes. For my honorable mentions here, I narrowed them down to Coming Through Your Fucking Block, Heavy Ammunition, Way Back, Flexy with the Technique, Lower to Boom, What Goes On, Dynamite Soul, and What's Up Now, Motherfucker. When it comes to the overall top 3 tracks for this one, I think my favorites would probably have to be Wrong Side of the Tracks, Come On With the Get Down, and Attack of New Jerusalem. Thank you for watching my 272nd video. Next time we're going over to the South for the final time in this set of 90s classics. So check for that review, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite moments are off this staple of East Coast underground hip-hop. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.